Look at this, 2 days in a row. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am back for another live stream. I'm going to be doing one of these for the next couple of days, so, enjoy yourself, buckle down, knuckle down. I don't know what the phrase is that I'm looking for here. Let's get rid of that. So, yeah, we're back. We're going to do some practice. We're going to do some talking. Obviously, I want to promote my new book, but I'm also going to get to show this off today. I'm playing the Strat. I guess I could really do this, couldn't I? Not that one. Oh, there we go. So, we're playing the Strat today. We don't want it to drive that much. We won't use that delay because evidently that's not set up right. I'm gonna do the usual. There's a dog choking underneath me. I'm gonna do the usual. I'm just gonna do a little warm up. Give you guys an opportunity to come online. Mate, come on, get in your bed. Mate, go get in your bed. Rover, get in your bed. Get in your bed. I was playing earlier and he stop coming back here. I was playing earlier and I set up a little loop and he came and sat on the looper pedal. He created more loops. Is this where we're going to witness animal violence? Right, you in your bed? Good boy. Cool. So let me play a little loop to warm up with. I'm going to play. I'll tell you what. I'll do like a nice gospel-y thing. We'll do G7, A7, C7. I might put a C over D in there. And back to my G. So something like. Apparently I didn't press the loop pedal. That's a good start. We'll lay down a second layer on that because I've got things set up. So. Just a little faux organ thing in the background. Easy enough thing to solo over. Just going to play the sounds of my chord. Let's get some drive. Still too much drive on that. A bit more drive. Not my best, but having some fun. All right, should have some people online. Let's answer some questions. Apart from my books, which are all amazing, what would you say are the most underrated, underread guitar books? And why are some of the best guitar books? What are some of the best guitar books that people need to spend time with? So I have covered this extensively. Obviously, I'm going to do this. I have talked about this. I have actually have a series on my YouTube channel called "Guitar Instructional Materials That You Must Own," and the ones that were really influential on me. Some of my favourites would be Mick Goodrick's The Advancing Guitarist. I found that to be really, really useful, really an important part of my development as a player. Outside of that, a lot of the books that I enjoy aren't really pitched at guitar players. So the Randy Vincent Cellular Method book, I really enjoy that book. I put a lot of time into that. Les Wise, the Bebop Bible. I'm a big fan of that. I spent a lot of time with things like the Jerry Bergonzi series. Those were really important to me. I'm trying to think guitar things that really stood out as being pitched to guitar players, like made by guitar players for guitar players. But most of my favourite books aren't. They're written for all instruments, saxophone books, The Don Mock books, actually, we mentioned them yesterday. I think all of Don Mock stuff is fantastic, so I rate those. Hopefully that helps a little bit. How does someone know what one of your practice books is best for them, since continuing to develop foundations is for all players? That's a good point. So I'll give you an example from that foundation level book that I think a lot of my students would struggle with. Right. So if I not that one, this one. So in that book, there's an exercise where we go through the circle of fifths. Counterclockwise, so going up in fourths, and being able to play like G major, then C major, then F major, what I'm going for here is like that, not thinking about just playing major scales around the circle of fourths like that, right? If you can't do that, if there's hesitation in that, then there's still work for you to do in that foundation book. I do recommend that foundation book to people first, because there's definitely challenging stuff in there. Wasn't a walk in the park for me to record all the audio examples, I tell you that. So that definitely jumps out as being like an exercise. But I think there's the whole problem of writing a book for beginners. I didn't want to call it beginners. I refused to call it beginners, because it's not a book for beginners. It's foundation level skills. But some people they're like, well, I'm not a foundation level guitar player. Intermediate, they're like, oh, well, I'm better than that. And now advanced, it's like, well, I'm advanced. I don't need an advanced book. I hate those. They're really marketing things, but I think they end up hurting the marketing, because I think there's value in each one of the books. Which is why I've been doing, my Patreon weekly guided practice routines for almost 2 years now, and they just continue to grow in terms of the archive of materials, because it's never ending, isn't it? I do need a dog cam. Very Rhodes. Nice loop. Interested to see how you would approach that dominant 2 chord. So this actually ties back to a book. If I talk about Don Mock's Mastering the Dominant Chord, that's one of my favourite books, actually. A really, really good book. And he talks about this principle in there of when we play a diatonic 1 chord, like a G major. Let me get a loop. Now we know the right scale to play over this is the G major scale. Don't play leading. Then what he says is, if you play that 1 chord but dominant, I know we'll get to the 2. No, I have to get rid of the loop. What you would play over this is still your tonic sound, so still G major, but you adjust your guide tones to fit the chord. So over this, I would play the major scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but then I can't play F sharp, the natural 7, because it doesn't fit with the chord, so I have to play 7, flat 7. So it's obvious that we have to play Mixolydian over the 1 chord. Words to that effect. Now, when we look at the 2 chord, well, the 2 chord in the G major scale is an A minor 7. So we would expect 2 chord, you play Dorian, right? That makes sense. But if we say it's a 2 dominant, which is what we presented here, helps if you play the note. So I'm going to play, what I would play of this would be Dorian. Apparently I can't play loops today, so it's going to be a rough night. Okay. So I play Dorian, but I have to adjust the guide tones to fit the chord. So 1, 2, can't play flat 3, has to be major 3. 4, 5, 6, flat 7, 1. So the correct scale here is going to be Mixolydian. That's correct. That's diatonic well, it's as diatonic to the key center as you can go while just adjusting the chord for what you land on. And the fun thing about this is as you start going through your modes, you do mode 3, which would be B minor 7. Same principle, right? We would expect this to be a Phrygian sound. But I'm playing dominant, minor here, but if I make that dominant, why can I not play loops? So when we hear that loop, same principle, 1, flat 2. And you end up with Phrygian dominant. So what you take from that is you get used to the correct chords for a secondary dominant in any place in a key. So secondary dominant 1 chord, you play Mixolydian. Secondary dominant 2 chord, you play Mixolydian. Secondary dominant 3, you play Phrygian dominant. Secondary dominant 4, you play Lydian dominant, so on and so forth. So to go to the chord progression. I have to play Mixolydian, and then here you could play Lydian dominant. I kind of stopped you from being able to do that in my chords. I play Lydian dominant on the C there. I'll give you Lydian dominant on the C. It's kind of fun. Instagram. I've got no groove tonight, apparently. So that's the answer to that. Saw this guitar on your Instagram. What is it? What pickups? It's a custom shop, Fender custom shop 60s Stratocaster with 60s pickups in it, 60s neck profile, 60s fingerboard. Like everything about it is 60s Strat, apart from the fret wire, which is jumbo, because I like that. So yeah. Love the transcriptions. As an intermediate player looking to take it to the next step, how would you approach soloing over chord changes? Lesson seems to go to basic to super expert very quick. That's a really good question. And I think it comes in line with a lot of the things that I talk about, which is foundation level knowledge. If we just take that chord progression that I was talking about there, G major, A major, C major, back to G major, or dominant if you like. I don't believe that one can play over chord changes unless they can confidently play chords, right? So unless you could play G major, now I played some sevenths in there, but that's, to me, like real basic knowledge. You have to be able to play triads, and I'm getting bored and trying to play things that are more than just triads. But yeah, and no matter where you are, you should be able to play G, A, C, G. If you can't see your triads, if you can't see the notes that are in the chords, how do you expect to be able to play the sound of the chords when you're soloing, right? And a really good exercise that I have in the books, in the guided practice books, and we definitely take it to the extreme in the latest book, but I think it's introduced in the intermediate book, is this idea that when I play any given chord, so that G, if I play this, I know that this is the third, and therefore I know, well, if this is the third, this must be the fourth. If this is the third, this is the fifth. If this is the fifth, this must be the sixth. That must be the flat seven. That must be the root. So now when I see this, I've actually got so all this stuff that I can play around that chord form. Now when the chord changes to A, same idea. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7. And I love what I've done here, what I'm demonstrating here, because what I'm forcing myself to do is not go, because that's not how we play melodies, right? That's not how we do shit. We play melodies in melodic areas, not from the bottom to the top. So G major looking like this, G7 I guess. A looking like this. C looks like this. Well, if this is my 5, 6, flat 7, 1, 2, back to my G. Same. So yeah, I'm forcing myself to do that. Now, one of the exercises that I definitely play in the new book, bring it up on screen. In fact, I'll bring this up because, of course, the book's doing all right. Please do go and buy a copy on Amazon, because the series, well, last time I checked, was taking the 1, 2, and 3 spot in the bestsellers for guitar music, which is a nice little thing. So if you want to extend that out, we should be able to go, okay, well, G major is this. And the G major scale looks like this. Or here. I shouldn't play that chromatic note. Let's not do that. just following my ear a little bit more now. So that's in position, right? G major. And I could do it here, G major. Or here, G major. Here. Here. Or here. So it doesn't matter where my G is, I can always play G major. And the fun with that is that once you can do it with G major, well, it should be able to do G mixolydian. Sorry. Here. 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 The knowledge is just there, right? G major. Major scale. Or G mixolydian. Really is as simple as that. My chords here. There's always like that chord knowledge, and I appreciate that that's not me playing over chord changes yet. That's me just playing. I'll take this off because it's getting obnoxious, right? Let's do that. It's less obnoxious. Go and buy a copy off Amazon. That's a really good workout, like really, really good for the brain. But it does work in terms of playing melodies and playing chord changes. So if I do that same approach, right? So we have G major, or sorry, G7, because that chord progression we played, right? I'll get rid of it so you can see the full guitar. So if I'm here and I play G7, A major, C major, C major, G major, if I'm here, G major, there's my third of A, C major, G major. When I'm saying major, I really mean like dominant mixolydian. G major, A major, C major. And because I've got that chord knowledge in there, like everything starts to sound like I know what I'm doing. Everything sounds like I'm playing the sound of the chord because I'm playing the sound of the chord. So to come back to your question, just trying to find it because everything auto advances. It's that. So I going from the problem with things going from basic to super advanced very quick. That if there comes a point during any of that where you're like, oh, this is too advanced, I've pushed it too far, then cool, you found your limit. You have to dial it back, and you have to really, really work on the thing that came before until you just know it. You know, I took 3 dominant chords there, but if we took something maybe a little bit more diatonic, right, a 1-6-2-5, let's play a 1-6-4-5. So in the key of G, it's going to be G major, going to E minor, 4 chord is C, 5 chord is D. Now we should be able to see our G major, E major, E minor, C major. Now you notice I play. My habit is to put the natural 4 on there, even though technically a 4 chord, which should be you can get away with it because I'm playing melodies, play with confidence. So. D major. Yeah, so I'm outlining those chord changes, but doing it because I'm thinking chord. And if I make that simpler, G major, E minor, C major, I'm hearing a melody, right? So, what do I play? I played E minor, E minor, C major. Yeah, so always thinking chord. The more you think about chord, the better you get at playing chord. So, how much do I think about target notes when improvising over this? Not at all. Not at all. Sometimes I like switch off so much that I need to pull myself back to the thinking when I'm playing over that there. I am following my ear. Like I have this sense of melody when I play a one chord. Now this note is the third. I can hear. It wants to move down. Now I'm singing like a harmony to myself here because I'm thinking no matter the melody note you sing, E minor. Yeah, so I'm trying to hear melody in relation to chord. Hopefully that helps. Wondering if you could chat about talking chord tones soloing over a diatonic. I just did that, didn't I? Literally 1645. What I will say about that, what I've done there though, is it's really important to know that there is a difference between playing over chord changes like that and playing a like a tonic sound over it. You could look at that whole thing In fact, if I lay it down, there's nothing wrong with this chord progression. It comes up. You can play over this in two ways. You can outline the chord changes like this. Outlining the chord changes there, right? But that might not always be the appropriate thing to do. The more appropriate thing to do might be to play one pentatonic scale. That's just as stylistically appropriate, right? And I think that there's, if I played the guitar solo on Sweet Child of Mine, you can play that or you can try and outline chord changes. I mean, I should have played the chord progression first so you can hear it, but you know what I'm getting at. You have to know what the appropriate thing to do is. So when it comes to playing over a standard, just play the chords to tell you what to play. Show us important to learn. Triads are very important. Random guy question is key. No, random guy question is key. All right, fine. Maybe that makes sense. How do I think when I solo? Melody. Think melody. Always thinking melody. -7 sharp 5 is here. Will there be a guided practice routine 3-in-1 compilation book? There will. It'll be out before Christmas. Another live AMA. And nice, yeah. In short, buy them all. Yeah, buy them all. Can I recommend any resources for learning blues licks and for learning 2-5-1 lines, Levi? Well, I could name something recent. I'm looking for a copy to hand, but it's over there on top of my Hammond organ, and I'm not going to get up for it. Ross Campbell put out a book recently that's really good. If you want something closer to home, in terms of things that I also helped or was involved in some way, the Josh Smith book from Fundamental Changes is great because Josh Smith's amazing. When it comes to 2-5-1 vocabulary, for me it was like the Les Wise Bebop Bible, or Building a Jazz Vocabulary, the Hal Leonard book, or just transcribing. Do I think with all the lessons that are fingertips... Sorry, let's try this. Do you think with all of the lessons at our fingertips, it diminishes one's creativity? Being creative, in my opinion, makes you better automatically. No, I don't think... No. Because I always bring it back to language, Stephen. I would say that with all of the, language education that we have, we all go to school. Does that diminish our ability to have great creative writers, people that write great novels, or people that write great screenplays for film or theatre? No. I think having people help you with the language side of things helps you to move things along more quickly. Yeah. Why are bends not more common in jazz guitar? That's a stylistic thing, isn't it? It really is just, it's not just bends, it's vibrato and everything. Yeah, I don't actually have like a really solid answer for that, because when you think of like saxophone players, they bend notes. They absolutely bend notes when they play. And it always seemed odd to me that jazz guitar doesn't do it that way, but I'm also okay with it. I kind of like that sound. So, thoughts on Roy Marchbank? I've said his name once. I don't want to say it 2 more times in case the freak shows up here. Not in a positive way. The guy's an absolute hack, and I wish he'd go away and leave me alone. I've wasted enough of my time being a tutor on one of Roy's events and having to sit in a room and play with him, and no thank you, never again. I'm loving the stream, Zachary. You're welcome. Just bought my intermediate book. Having trouble downloading. Does it require name and email? You do have to put your email in so they can email you the link. Yeah. Yeah. Have I struggled with any serious chronic music-related injuries? That's a really interesting one. I do have... it's not really music-related. It's more, nature of my work is I work at a computer. So I'm using a mouse and keyboard all the time. So I have problems in my wrist. But I haven't had any of the traditional, repetitive strain injuries. Tennis elbow, one of my old teachers suffered with. Nothing like that. No, I've been quite lucky. And I think maybe part of that is due to the fact that I don't put myself in repetitive strain injury situations. I probably would have that if I continued on practicing the way I did when I was a teenager, but I'm not. I'm an old man now, so I play like an old man, and part of playing like an old man is not really exerting myself all that much when I play. I want everything that I play to be pretty easy to do, and I'll try and find interesting things to play that are easy on my body, easy on my hands, rather than playing things that are harder than they need to be. What have we got? Dude, yeah. Talking about Mixolydian, a cool solo to learn that's accessible to most abilities is the solo from Back in Time by Huey Lewis. I mean, I think you'll find a lot of that. Anything rock and roll influenced is going to fall in that Mixolydian camp. If you go... that sort of thing. You've got a Mixolydian sound there, right? And I'm really... To me, Mixolydian should never be... It should always be... So it's got that minor third in there, in the way of phrase of it. So it is still yesterday, dude, yeah. How do I download? Yeah, I've just told you that. So I'm not happy. Like, I'm not hugely happy with the way audio works in all of the books. Not because it's not a good system, but because I constantly get questions from people about, I'm really struggling to get the audio. How do I get the audio? They think there's a CD with it or something. And I'm like, have you read the book? Because like on the 3rd page, there's a big page. It's not hidden. There's a big page that says, a big title on it that says, get the audio. And then it tells you how to get the audio. So, evidently that still causes problems for people though. So it's not an insult to the people. It means that, in a way we have failed. I say we, it's not my company. In a way, Fundamental Changes has failed in that respect. But there doesn't seem to be like a really good way around it. We just kind of have to guide people as and when they're having problems. So hopefully that helps. An interesting video came out saying that this scale works well for the whole of Autumn Leaves. No, it doesn't. Just because... So the beautiful thing about Autumn Leaves is you have diatonic changes, 2-5-1 major, 2-5-1 minor, but then at the end of the minor you make it dominant, and in order to get that dominant sound to pull you back to the 1 sound, well, over that you really want to play Phrygian dominant. To look at that and say, okay, well, what we've got here is we've We've got the normal minor scale. I actually saw one person once, it was Wolf Marshall, call that the harmonian mode, where it's like harmonic minor and aeolian together. No, because the problem with that is that the leading tone that you use to create that key Phrygian dominant sound doesn't work on all of the rest of the progression. When that note, depending on the key that you're playing it in, but if you're playing in E minor, the G sharp that's going to happen when you make that E and E7, that doesn't work everywhere else. It has to be played with finesse. So it's not one scale. It is a nice guitar, Ross. You were there when I got it. 10 minutes behind the live stream. Spot on about foundation, knowing triads, self-taught, great, yeah, good. Improvisation is lacking. A very pentatonic boxy. Nothing wrong with that. Can imagine Danny Gatton playing over these chords. Yeah, definitely. How's my action set? Sounds a bit buzzy. It's actually not that high. It just needs some tweaks because I've put some different strings on it. But it's supposed to be spanky, right? If I dig in, neck pickup. Works for all of that. It's got the right thing, and the action is definitely higher than you would expect, believe it or not. Everyone has to start somewhere. That is true. 2 days in a row. Yeah. What am I enjoying playing the most right now? Okay, I'll answer this one. Simon Neil is a guitar player. I've never really listened to his guitar playing, but Biffy Clyro were the first band I ever saw live. And they were a support band. For In Me. I like the band. I think they're a really good band. But I've never really listened to his guitar playing from how's his guitar playing perspective. But I like him. I like what they're doing. Yeah. Your question was, what am I enjoying playing the most right now? Music, songs, rhythm guitar. Sitting behind a singer and going, what do I play? Yeah, it's actually the chord progression that I've been doing, but is it? No, we don't make the 4-chord dominant, but if I go... these triad licks like that where I go. I like that sort of thing. like really chordal stuff, because it's very gospel. And yeah, I like that sort of thing. And obviously I play in a soul band, so stuff like that's kind of fun. And we're going to finish the live without a net solo. I'm not, no. I like annoying people. Yeah. Triad pairs. I'm not sure. Is that in reference to the thing I literally just played there? Yeah, technically, yeah, that is. I guess, just I'm not really thinking about. I'm thinking 1-2, but I guess technically that makes it triad pair. So I'm playing D flat. I'm playing D flat, E flat minor, D flat major, E flat minor, D flat major. Sometimes I'll play the 4 chord here, which is really like 2 minor 7 or 4 chord. If you want not 2 major. If you want full triad, it would be that. So I guess technically, yeah. And when I put on yeah, so if I play that, that's CeeLo Green's Forget You, we play that in D flat. So I'm forcing myself to think D flat, 2 chord dominant, 4 chord, and then we're going. So when I'm playing that tune live, that's kind of what I'm doing. I'll take that tune and I mix those triads up as a way of sounding a little bit more than a guitar that's just going. And a lot of the time I have my, this is like, I use the sound more than just about anything else live because I love that. Let's lay down like a dirty, like a funkier. Let's try that again. Didn't delete the loop. actually put some drive on that. It's quite fun too. Lost all my volume on that, right? I love that sound. Puts me in like Oz Noy territory, right? And of course, one of everybody's goals in life, when you practice, should always be: do I sound more like Oz Noy now than when I started practicing? If the answer is yes, then your practice session has gone well. Kind of want to go back to it. I had fun with those, working on the diminished. Just too much fun. Hopefully you don't think this is what my practice sessions are usually like, right? Exactly what you asked. Thanks. Good. It's not a vintage Strat, no, it's a custom shop, Fender custom shop. What else have we got? Still working on Levi Clay country solo and compilation. Awesome. I'm very proud of that book. So, how do the whammy bar harmonics work? Well, I don't have the whammy bar in on this, and it's in the case which is in the house, so I can't get that for you. But as long as we know how harmonics work. Like hitting a node. Now that node there at the 12th fret. So I'm trying to mute all my other strings for you. I can get that just by hitting the note, right? I can do it here too. You want a lot more distortion for it. So same idea. If you can do it with this hand, should be able to do it with this hand. if you add the whammy bar to that. Now, I really need the bar to be able to do that because there's 5 springs in the back of this, so it's just not suited to it. But by dipping the bar first, you make getting that harmonic actually a lot easier. It's much harder to get those harmonics just by slapping like that because the string is tight. So when you slack the string down and then get the harmonic as you bring the bar up, it helps to sound the harmonic. So hopefully that helps. I don't speak foreign, sorry. I was going to say that the outside playing reminds you of Osnoy, yeah, good. Robin Ford and Wayne Krantz, yep. Players that I love all of those guys. And Schofield, yeah, that's got that Schofield vibe to it. What artists are good for beginning transcribers to learn to transcribe chords as well as melodies and solos? Oh, that's an interesting one. I don't think there's a good answer to that one. I can speak to it. So the example I always love to give my students is if I bring my face up like this. If I play this, do you know what chord this is? I would imagine the answer to that is probably yes. You probably know that that's a 7 sharp 9 chord, more specifically an E7 sharp 9 Hendrix chord. If I play something like this, you probably don't know what that is at first sound. Now, if you happen to be working on a recording that goes probably don't know what that chord is, right? Because you're unfamiliar with it. So I think, for me, the thing that's been really useful is learning chord vocabulary, learning songs and shit. So when I hear this chord on a record, and I hear it a lot because it happens in soul music a lot, I know what that chord is. As soon as I hear it, I can play it. As soon as I hear this, 7 sharp 9, I can just play it because it's the Hendrix sound. So by learning songs rather than using transcription as a way to learn chords, you really want to learn songs and chords, so when you come to transcribe, you hear a thing, you go, pretty sure I know what that is. Now, sometimes you're not going to know what it is, but you'll have a ballpark idea, and then you can, transcribe based on the thing that you know. So, you might think it's this, but then when you listen closely, you actually hear that there's, on the top, it's close enough. So I write this down, then I go, what's missing? It's not that. It's not that. And we find that chord, or chords like this. Or, like when I hear this chord, I immediately know what that chord is. Because I've heard it so many times. And by hearing chords all the time, or learning chords and playing chords all the time, you just get better at knowing what chords are. That's the best advice I can give, unfortunately. You get a flavour for how chords sound, like what a chord with a flat 9, an A7 flat 9. I hear that, I know it. I'm never going to confuse that with this. Different chord, right? Or this, or this. Similar, but that 13 in there is just so strong to my ears. So yeah, the more chords you learn, the easier you'll find transcribing chords. So never focus on chords. Always wanted to learn the solos. Yeah, chords. I do know Alex Hutchins. Yeah, he's a great player. I gave him a lesson on Guitar Pro recently, actually, as it happens. If someone could dedicate 15 minutes of solid practice a day, where to start? Is it the Foundations book and perhaps rotate it with learning those chords? Well, great question there. 15 minutes of practice. I write my weekly guided practice routines on Patreon, or my guided practice routines for the books, as 15-minute routines. They're a little bit shorter in the first book, but yeah, they're all 15 minutes or so in the advanced book. In fact, let's do this. This book, you want to go and get yourself a copy of this book? The number 1, 2, and 3 bestsellers on guitar music on Amazon. You should go get it. All I'm saying is you'll enjoy it. I'll keep that up. Oh, hello, Brett. How's it going? Yeah, so if you can dedicate yourself to 15 minutes of stuff a day, I would recommend chordal knowledge. I would recommend learning songs. I really would. To me, learning songs is really valuable. When I take, did I play it yesterday? Yeah, I think I did. The second time round, when your ear gets better, you realise it's not actually an F7, it's an F over A. It's this, F7 over A. So you get... Need these questions to keep coming, guys, or to answer the... Well, it's not a question. Oh, I did hit my goals for the day. I was worried then. I was like, it's gone past the hour and I haven't stood up. I'm supposed to stand up, but I'm sure it popped up and told me I hit all my goals today. Oh yeah, good. That's a relief. Get rid of this now. Nope, not good. Just guitar. We'll get it somewhere. Yeah, so the title of this stream is How Can You Get Better on the Guitar Like This? Ask Me Anything. And the answer to like this is, aside from the obvious, buy my books. Actually, but you know what? Buying my books won't actually make you a better player. That really is true. No purchase will make you a better player. The only thing that can make you a better player is practice time. The only thing that can make you a better player is putting the time into the thing that you're passionate about. So I don't want to bore you by practicing, but practice is how you get better. So putting on a chord, putting on that. I'll play the chord progression I just played. I don't have to solo over this one, but let's consider it. So. That's interesting. So we've got like a B flat minor, F, Phrygian dominant, and then moving more Dorian in tonality. I could play on this for endless amounts of time until no hesitation is going on in my brain. So I'm playing it too fast there for real practice. So practice. And then I run it until I get bored. Let's Osnoy it. What's going on? There's a suspicious lack of new comments. There we go. Oh, Jesus, there's a lot of comments. Okay, I missed it. Let's Osnoy it. To me, that's what a lot of my practice looks like. Putting something on and just going forever until I'm more comfortable with it. Recommend doing one a day. Yeah, I mean, that's the idea of the guided practice routines. You do one every day for a week, and then you move on to the next one. Do I think originality is important? How do you approach it? Depends what your goal is. Originality doesn't actually excite me all that much. It does sound a lot like Hotel California, doesn't it? It's not. But yeah, originality doesn't excite me as much as tribute to the things that I love. So I want to sound like the things that I love. I want to have as much authentic bebop vocabulary and things like that in my playing as possible. But you know, if originality is important to you, then go listen to Brian Baker, not Levi Clay. 2 questions. Have you used the Howard Roberts practice routine at some point? You know, I've actually not, and I don't like chord chemistry. Sorry. And why do you think Chord Chemistry by Ted Green is not such a great book? Dude, that's an easy one to answer. If you go on Ted Green's website, what you will find is there is a companion book for chord chemistry written by one of Ted Green's students. And it's supposed to be used, as the name would suggest, as a companion to accompany chord chemistry to help you get the most out of it and help you understand it. And I think that it's not unreasonable to suggest the idea that if someone has had to write a companion book to go with your book to help people to understand it, then your book wasn't well written in the first place, was it? It shouldn't need that companion book. My books don't need a companion book to go with them. You know, The Advancing Guitarist didn't need a companion book to go with it. I think there are books out there like Scott Henderson's chord book that really needed a companion to go with it. It's not a great book. If you need outside sources to help you explain the content of the book and how to use it, then it's not been all that well thought out. So yeah, there we go. I'll get in trouble for that, but good. I'm glad I put that melodic minor lick in your ear, Brett. It's a banger, isn't it? Levi's books are incredibly helpful. I would recommend them all. Thanks very much. Your check's in the mail. From practice routines, country and slide books, plus the videos on Guitar Pro over the years. You are very welcome, Chasing Sound. Keep chasing sound, sir. Where did I buy the floral shirt that looks like Grandma's? Which shirt are you talking about? I don't know which shirt you're talking about. You kept saying this yesterday. Oh, God, it's gone. You kept saying that my entire stream is gone. Where is it? Okay. I thought you were talking about the Boba Fett shirt I was wearing yesterday. I don't know what shirt you're talking about. Sorry. Oh, or do I? I have a lot of shirts like that. They're what I call Sean Baxter shirts. When playing over changes, what are you actually thinking about? Melody. I'm thinking, I'm listening and I'm trying to hear the next chord change. Hear the actual chord. I'm trying to hear the chord in my head. I'm trying to hear the notes in the chord. I'm trying to hear what notes sound good on that chord. And I'm trying to play what I'm playing towards that landing note, towards that landing zone. Would be my best way of describing it. Eddie Van Halen said, just keep playing. Yeah, the more you play, the better you get. At what point does it become unreasonable to be worrying about spec? It seems there's a very fine line between wanting to be comfortable and blaming the guitar for your shortcomings. Yeah, so for the longest time, and I think I still am, I always describe myself as a telly player, and I've got a lot of nice tellies. You can see my Danny Gatton telly behind me. Just over there, you can see my Paisley telly. I love tellies, and the reason I love tellies is because they are shit guitars. Sounds silly, right? But Telecasters are just a piece of wood bolted to another piece of wood. There's nothing fancy about them. There's no contours, no body contours, no arm cut, no belly cut. It's just a shit. It's like you take a coffee table, you cut a shape out of it, and you bolt a shit neck onto it. And because of that, because it's such an imperfect guitar, and every single guitar that has come after the Telecaster, every single guitar has been an attempt to improve upon the design of the Telecaster. Now, I'm not going to say that hasn't been achieved. That's absolutely been achieved. Like, this is, like, the tremolo system in this is, like, it's wonderful. It brings so much to the table. But when you look at the advances of things like a Floyd Rose or locking tuners or true temperament frets or all these manner of things that all seek to improve upon the idea of the original Telecaster, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think it's great, and it's the reason I don't only play Telecasters. But the beauty of playing a Telecaster is that when you pick it up, you have to acknowledge that there are better instruments than this, and everything else has been made with being better than this in mind. And because you accept that from the get-go, then there's nothing to worry about but the music. Yes, I know that there are better guitars out there. Let's put that aside. Can't believe I didn't say 6 saddles on the bridge here. Like, my Telecasters all have 3 saddles, because I like my Telecasters to be as imperfect as possible, because it really does make me focus more on the playing and not the specs of the instrument. So that's my answer to that. I once sold Jeff. Let's try that. I once sold Jeff Beck play at Ronnie Scott's when I lived in England from 4 feet away. He didn't tune his guitar the whole set. Maybe he should have. Hey Levi, how many hours would you suggest for a dexterity exercise? I'm probably not the. I'm relatively dexterous in my left hand. The old adage of you don't practice something until you get it right, you practice until you can't get it wrong, is probably a good one. So, how long is a piece of string? Would be cool to see you do one of your transcribing videos on Simon Neil's playing. He uses quite unique chord shapes from what I've seen. I just don't think people will be interested in it, unfortunately. Guthrie Govan will be in Germany soon, and we'll see him. Have you ever seen him live? I'm so hyped. I've lost count of the amount of times I've seen Guthrie live. You may be able to tell from my accent, but I am English. And you may be able to tell from my accent, but I'm a southerner. I'm from just outside London. I grew up in the south. So there's lots of Romford in my accent. I went to college in Colchester. I was actually born in Suffolk, but we don't really talk like that anymore. I don't. People where I'm from actually talk like this, and I don't like talking like that. I got a lot of. I've slipped into it now. I've got a lot of London in my voice, and I used to go and see Guthrie play with the Fellowship in Chelmsford every week, for a long period of time. It was £4 to get in, which is like $6, and there would often be about 10 people in the room, and it was just outrageous. I've seen him so many times; it shaped me into the player I became. So yeah, enjoy yourself. Sorry I missed a bit about Alex Hutchins. I gave him a lesson on Guitar Pro. Same with Scott Henderson. Scott's great. I saw him with Tribal Tech, and it was a great night. That's a response to someone else. Who doesn't love some Oznoi? Original music tends to sound pure shitty. I like tradition in a lot of the music that I play, you know. It's amazing how you can answer simple questions with 500 less words than professors at my school. That's really funny, Brett, because I think I'm quite famous for having for being very wordy, for saying too many things. So if I'm doing it in 500 less words, that's progress. Another win from YouTube notifications. Yay, Joseph. I appreciate your comments. So come back. The stream's going to stay up. You can enjoy yourself. Telecasters are great because you have nothing to hide behind. That is true. How do you like the Mick Goodrick book, Advancing Guitarist? I said at the start of the book, start of this stream, that it's one of my favourite books, one of the most influential books on me. Love it. All this triad stuff, it comes from studying Mick's work. So love triads and the Advancing Guitarist because of that. Steve Kahn's books, he's the pentatonic concepts and the chord concepts books. They're great books. I have read and worked through both of those. Very good. Zachary, I'm glad you enjoyed that answer. But yeah, I made a video years ago expressing that idea about Telecasters and why they're so good. You want to come and say hello, don't you? Come on in. Come on. Up. Come on, up. Jump. No. Come say hello, you beast. There's a camera there. Say hello. This little... ignore the peep. Hello, sir. I can't hold you much better than this, because I have a guitar on my lap. You just want some attention, don't you? Yeah, I made a video years ago on that Telecaster thing, and people really didn't receive it well. They thought it was very inflammatory for me to say that the Telecaster is a shit body bolted to a shit neck. They're like, "How dare you say something?" And I'm like, "You're so fragile that upsets you, because I'm literally sitting here telling you why the Telecaster is the best guitar. And I have several of them. I have so many Telecasters because I love the Telecaster for all those reasons. And you're caught up with the idea that it's a shit neck bolt to a shit body. Like, grow up. Look for the meaning in the words. Let me keep going. Thought I was from Georgia. I wish I was from Georgia. Deep South, yeah. I've been doing my best to try and move over to the States, but you guys don't let me. You don't like people moving there. So, who are some of the harder guitarists to transcribe, excluding the speed factor? Gambale, I don't mind. Gambale, I'm actually Frank's transcriber. I'm doing his albums for him at the moment. We've just finished up Brave New Guitar. Moving on to Passages next because he doesn't want to do them chronologically. So I know Frank's playing Inside Out. Holdsworth, I find Holdsworth incredibly difficult to transcribe because his lines are so alien to me. The way he plays is alien to me. The stretches and things like that. Like, it doesn't. That's not how I would. I can hear the notes and go, okay, I know what those notes are. And if I was just doing standard notation, Holdsworth would be no problem. But because of the way he plays things, it makes it really hard to understand and tab it out in a way that's accurate because it doesn't fall within how I play. So I'm of that Robin Ford or John Scofield or Mike Stern persuasion. So when you get into like real modern, I mean Holdsworth's not modern because he's kicking around in the 70s, but yeah, if you think of guys from that like Bill Connors, even to a degree some of the earlier Scott Henderson stuff where I think he's copping a lot of Holdsworth influence in there, I find that a lot harder to pass. Whereas now I know a lot more about Scott's modern sound. I'm transcribing a bunch of Scott for something that I can't announce at the moment. So I'm super in there with Scott's playing currently. I've always been a huge Scott Henderson fan. So stuff like that I find very easy. But then, yeah, anytime something's a little bit outside of how I would normally play, it just makes it harder to transcribe. So there you go. Scratch tax, yeah. I love the Telecaster for the right reasons. You're so fragile that it upsets you. Yeah. I feel I spend my life saying that to people. I have a good heart and I love people, but I also have a habit of upsetting people with the things that I say, and it's not my intention. I would get in Texas in a heartbeat. I've been to Texas before. I love Texas. Have you songs from Holdsworth which you recommend? So for me, what I always say about Holdsworth, I'm not really that big a Holdsworth fan. And the reason for that is that Holdsworth plays these really what you think are very outside lines, but they're not actually outside lines because his harmony is also so outside. He's actually really playing like inside on the weird outside harmony. So I like Holdsworth playing the most when he's playing on other people's material, stuff that isn't his own. So, I mean, you could go as far back as like the Jean-Luc Ponty stuff. And that's some cool stuff in there. But I would say like the Heavy Machinery album with Jens Johansson, that's a really good record because it's like Holdsworth playing on things that I understand. I like him. He played on a couple of tracks on the Planet X album, Quantum. I like those. But yeah, not hugely for me. So any tips on two-handed tapping? What tips are you looking for? I think the secret to two-handed tapping is having a good left hand, not a good right hand. I don't do so much of it anymore, but like when you are doing the like... time. I find with stuff like that, like having a really good left hand and being able to get the if you don't have those really strong index finger hammers, then you've got nothing. So if you think of like all those Greg Howe things where some drive. Long time since I've done stuff like that. Yeah, you need a good left hand, so I like stuff like that. I was really into like Bumblefoot style tapping. He does things like this, which I quite like. But as you can hear, I don't sound like modern guitar players anymore because I don't edit my stuff. So this guitar is growing on you. Good. I'm glad you like it. It's a great guitar. It looks great. Feels great is the best part. How about experimental Robert Fripp stuff? Yeah, no, I never got into Robert's playing. No, I never. I don't. I can't say anything negative about it, but it never jumped out at me in the way that it speaks to a lot of people. I'm glad that it speaks to a lot of people. In the same, I always use Danny Gatton as an example. Danny's playing really speaks to me, and I know that it doesn't speak to everybody, but it really resonates with me because it's raw and he's like constantly going for stuff, and it's really rough around the edges, but it's the sign of like a man that's just giving you everything, and to me that's really cool. But to some people they're like, oh, it sounds like sloppy mess, which I can't argue with them. I like that. Same with Joe Pass actually. And yeah, Robert Fripp, it didn't really do it. It didn't really do it for me. So Texas music scene is unparalleled. That may well be true. I'm off to New York again in next Friday. I've got a week in New York, just a little quick vacation, and I'm catching the Brian Charette organ trio, which I'm looking forward to seeing. No major guitar gigs planned though. Some of my best friends growing up. I mean, this makes no. Oh, okay. What you mean is one of my best friends growing up was Scott Henderson. Different guy though. Scott's great. That is Jennifer Batten thing. Honest thoughts on James Hetfield. Fabulous guitar player. Yeah. One of the most important, if not the most important. This is like a really. People would fight me on this one. I'm not a huge Metallica fan, but probably the most important metal guitar player after Tony Iommi. Yeah, I think I'm okay saying that. Fabulous rhythm player. Some of it he has the odd solo here and there, and they're very melodic. Of course, his voice is iconic. Great songwriter. Yeah, I've not really listened to Metallica in years and years and years. I'd rather listen to Megadeth, but yeah, can't really shit on Dave Mustaine. Nope, try it again. Can't really shit on James Hetfield. Some great Holdsworth on that. I've done a couple of Gary Moore things. Yeah. This Strat is screaming. So initially, when I knew I was shopping for a Strat, what I thought I wanted was a humbucker, an HSS Strat, and I do want an HSS Strat. I saw this one on Guitar Guitar's website, and I was like, if that had a humbucker in the bridge, that would be the one. That would be perfect. I still had them send it to Glasgow so I could try this one out. And aside from that one thing about that pickup, because I don't play with overdrive very often at all, but I'm going to play a bit more than that. Like, I'm fine with that neck tone. I like the glassy. I'm fine with. I'm even fine with. But this. It sounds super buzzy. Nicer when you roll the tone down. I just think a humbucker in there would suit my playing a lot more. Because of course on my gig, It's this all night. It's just constant. What am I going to play? Let's go. And then when I get to solo on that, and I kick on this sort of. That's fine, but then this. It's just not got the balls, has it? Woo! Trying to keep up with these comments. I've built Warmoth stuff over the years, and what I found, what I believe, is when it comes to bolt-on necks, bolt-on guitars, the body and the neck need to be made for each other. They need to be paired for each other. If you have a neck that doesn't sit really, really well in that neck pocket, so shims or things like that, or loose space at the side, the guitar just never feels right. It has to feel right. Those two things need to feel like they go together. And when you get to like custom shop level guitars, you'll have a builder that will make a neck that they like, and they'll make a body, and they'll go put them together, and they'll be honest, and they'll be like, nah, these two don't really, nah, these aren't meant for each other. I know that sounds crazy, but yeah, I buy into that, unfortunately. So, Holdsworth also played a wicked solo on Derek Sherenian album. That's probably true. I'm unfamiliar on the one. Did I ever listen to any Ocean Size? Can't say I did. No. No samba. You right, pal? No, I go direct. I'm running the Fractal FM9 straight into the PA. None of my strats. This is the only strat I have. My one and only strat. Into Hendrix at all? I'm not actually. No, never into Hendrix. No, Hendrix bores me. Sorry. So, did everybody see, or did anyone see my Hendrix wasn't? No, sorry, I can't do it. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like Hendrix was an earth-shattering rhythm guitar player, because he got all of his rhythm guitar playing from the soul stuff that he played on. Like, but if you like Curtis Mayfield or Steve Cropper, like that's where that all comes from. He's playing their stuff. He's just ramping it up with a lot more distortion. If you like play Hendrix to Northern Soul fans, they listen to those Hendrix albums, and they're like, sounds like noisy soul music. Anyway, the video I put up today on playing over the chord progression in the video was 2, 5, 1, 6, but the chord progression could be anything, and I want to consider that. I want to give you, if I give you one thing that you could put in. Can't see what this says. Oh yeah, talking about the Strat. I see. Thanks very much for tuning in. Enjoy your sleep. Yeah. Anyway, so if I give you one thing to practice, go and watch that video. But you should be able to play D minor. This is a D minor triad. Should be able to play a D minor anywhere. Take one of them, this one. When we play this, could we play D minor to G major, to C major, to A major, to D minor, to G major, to C major, to A major. What am I doing? There we go. Should read a look at the guitar, right? D minor. Now I'm deliberately picking a string set which isn't my strongest area, yeah? I'm playing on the A, D and G strings. But it could be anywhere, right? It's here. Any string set. Can you play those triads? And then when you can, we can then start asking ourselves, just staying in one area, if I play D minor like this, what melody could I play around this? I might go. That takes me really nicely to. There's a good book called Connecting Chords with Linear Harmony, which works on this sort of thing. Or that's connecting chords with linear harmony. I'm just taking it to the next level by playing my chord, right? Oh, actually one. D minor. you can hear what I'm doing there, right? I'm outlining those chord changes, and it's not an easy exercise. I've got like a little bit more freedom to move around with it, but at its core, you know, if you think you're an intermediate or advanced guitar player, you should just be able to do that. It's not high level. It's not. It's kind of like watching that Ted Green video where he's doing the Baroque stuff. Where's the challenge here? If you can't do it, why not fix it? So everything's fixable. It's like all these fun harmonic games, and I guess that's really the answer to how can you get better on the guitar like this. Play harmonic games. Give yourself a real challenge. Anyway, I'm just going to read up the last of these comments, then I'm going to fuck off. So here's my latest book, Guided Practice Routines for Guitar Advanced Level. If you want a challenge, I would recommend picking a copy up. If you want to support the channel, it's a great way to support the channel, so do that. And of course, it's been well received. I have 3 books in the Guided Practice Routine series currently, and as you can see, earlier today, they occupied the number 1, number 2, and number 3 bestseller spot on guitar music on Amazon. So they do well, so you'll enjoy them. Go and enjoy them. Let me read these comments. Messiah Will Come Again by Roy Buchanan. It's not bad. Roy's playing just never spoke to me in the same way Danny's did, and I know Roy gets a similar level of godlike status attributed to him, and I don't see it in comparison to Danny, but sure. Need that chord recognition ability. We all need that chord recognition ability. Favourite classic amp sounds, Tweed and Brownface Fender kick at the moment. I anything that's classic. I like an AC30 type sound. Obviously I'm using like a cleaner sound. One of my more go-to sounds, of course, is this, which isn't really even a guitar amp. I don't know if you can see it in this camera. No, you can't, but if I turn this, you can see behind that speaker, behind the light box there's a Leslie speaker, because I have a Leslie speaker in my studio, because I love a Leslie. And the amplifier that you get in a Leslie speaker has a nice sound to it, a specific sound to it. So, yeah, there's that. Let me keep going. So, that Ted Green video is epic. Would you suggest just picking a random chord progression to practice this? Yeah, so Christian is totally right. You want to pick one that you're likely to use. So I've done a lot of things here today. I did if you look at the chord progressions I've actually played, right? One was I started out doing the 1, 2, 4, 1. You could do it on that, right? If I go. applying the same basic ideas to that chord progression. Another chord progression we did was the 1-6-4-5. We could apply it to that. Do G major. Like that, or I played that Anastasia chord progression: B flat minor, F7, A flat major, E flat. Could do that right. I could go. Let's go. Minor. A flat. Yeah, trickier one. But yeah, any chord progression. It's like, as you can see, what I'm doing here is I'm less working out my hands because everything I played there is improvised. Yeah. I couldn't play that again the same way if you gave me $1 million. What I'm working on when I do that, the camera's too far that way. What I'm working on when I do it is my brain. Yeah, working on improving my brain. So does the new book focus on this a lot? That's an example from it in the chapter where we do the... that sort of thing. I was going to ask, what should I do with scales once I know the premise of them? Stop playing them. Start playing melodies. I'm not on the bridge pickup. How can I link multiple licks together to make never-ending licks? That's easy. I know you will see me tomorrow, dude. Yeah. Maybe. What have I got on tomorrow? No, actually, I've got maybe I'll come on later, but I have my Disney Lorcana League, which makes me sound like a mega dork, but I am a mega dork. So the question was, make it like stitching licks together. So to me, a lick is this. 4 notes. This. It's a lick. It's a lick. It's a lick. So when I play longer licks like that, I'm really just connecting together lots of smaller bits of vocabulary. So, yeah. Roy, yeah, Danny is another level. I'll give you that. David Gilmour is working on a new album. I don't think I could care less. Play some Andy Timmons. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you're asking me or to use them as an example. I've never learned any of the tunes from Resolution. I've never learned any Andy. I actually very rarely learn anyone's playing. I just hear the things and try and copy bits and pieces, but never I'm like, I'm going to learn to play that person's song or that person's solo. But you could use chord progressions from that, like Ghost of You. Always impressed, Levi. Good, thank you very much. Time and effort. Surprised about your Hendrix comments, though. Yeah, well, you know. Some of us are educated, others aren't. Sorry, I poke fun. Rhythm change. Yeah, applying it to rhythm change. Rhythm change is a kind of fun one because, maybe a little bit more difficult, because at its core, when you play rhythm changes, you do have 1, 6, 2, 5. And I think doing this 1, 6, 2, 5, you don't have as much time to get between them. But when you go up to the bridge, like seeing that, moving up to my let's put a flat 7 in there. Let's go la, la. I don't know what I'm fucking doing. Tapping out, great stream. Yeah, I'm heading out. I'm heading off in 2 seconds. Yeah, gay, definitely. Grey Cock rules, I agree. Resolution album, I mean, Andy knocks everything he touches out of the park. So, have I delved down the rabbit hole? The Slaminsky thesaurus of melodic patterns. I have the book. 15 years ago, put some time into the first maybe 10 pages, but it's not for me. It's not for me. No, because I like blues, I like bebop, I like all these traditional sounds, and that's traditional, but so traditional that it's outdated now. It's like romantic. Yeah, so not for me. Cry to Me is a great one. Greg Koch was the best guitarist alive. I don't think I could argue with that. Yeah, he is great. Prince is an interesting one. I'm not really a big Prince fan. Melissa, my partner, she's a huge Prince fan. She loves Prince so dearly. And what I find with Prince is he has moments that are brilliant. Like the Musicology album, there's a lot of stuff on that that's really, really good. But then there's a lot of stuff that I don't really like. And he's got tunes that steer more into that Minneapolis sound, like Alphabet Street back in the day. When you listen to the studio recording of that, it's not for me. But live versions of that, where he plays with an actual band, it's like really cool. But yeah, I rate Prince as a musician more than a guitar player. So yeah, it's odd that Slaminsky's book is talking about melodic cells and patterns when I don't find it to be that melodic, because it's very mathematical. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in, guys. One last time, if you want to be a good cunt, please do go and buy a copy of my new book, Guided Practice Routines for Guitar Advanced Level. You can pick it up on Amazon right now. And if you really, really want to help a brother out, buy yourself a copy and also leave a review on Amazon. I cannot express how helpful that is to the ranking of the book. So please do that. And of course, I'm going to sit in the bestseller spot for a little while. But the most important thing is those, you can see those star reviews underneath. My new book doesn't have that yet. It needs some reviews to come in. So if you want to help a brother out, please do go and grab a copy of the book, because it is very much appreciated. I love you all dearly. I will pop on tomorrow night, probably for an hour, not for a full 2-hour stream. So if I see you, I see you. If I don't, much love. You've been awesome. And I've been